What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and welcome to another episode of my dream condo renovation series. To recap, this is a 1,500 square foot condo with a 1,000 square foot outdoor terrace with a waterfront view, and it's one that I've been working on for the past year when it comes to the design process, the actual process of the renovation, as well as integrating elements of smart home technology that I find is useful or also visually aesthetic to the space. So if you guys had followed along, I actually did an episode where I showed you guys a tour of the empty place before also showing you the design plans of the kitchen, the media wall, the color palette, and all the samples. And now I'm going to talk about the progression when it comes to the home technology, as well as some of the electrical elements that I've done in this place. By dropping the ceiling down 4 inches, I was able to add a lot of customized elements when it comes to the audio technology, upgrading the internet system, as well as just tying together different elements and touches, including a steam closet, as well as kitchen technology, to just be able to make it a place where I've brought it up to date and also integrated elements that I enjoy. I did get quite a few Instagram messages about the tech setup of the space, so in this video, I'm going to go in depth of that. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them down below. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel, because in the next episode, you're going to be seeing the kitchen installation as well as the media wall installation before finally revealing the finished product. So before going into all the crazy details of the electrical wiring and the tech setup of the space, I'm going to give you a list of consumer products that I've integrated within. So for starters, the thermostat system that I'm going to be using is the ecobee. This is one that I've had my eye on for quite a while because I used to use the Nest system, and even though it was pretty good overall, I just wanted to change it up and see what the ecobee system was like. And what I like about it is that there is also a sensor that you can add in different areas of the house, and with one central heating and cooling system can curate the temperature of the entire place specific to the temperature read of one room, because I find my home office is always a lot warmer because of all of the technology compared to the bedroom. So the ecobee is the thermostat. In addition to that, when it comes to the fire and smoke detectors, I'm using the Nest system. This is something that I've used in all my other properties, and I just think it's very visually aesthetic. It also tests itself, and it's one that I've also integrated in different areas. And when it comes to the TV and living room, Sony sent us an 85-inch mini LED X95K Bravia TV, and this is going to be the centerpiece of this living room to be able to watch sports, movies, and everything. And on the topic of home theater, I did kind of bounce around between a few different types of speaker systems, whether it was a Bang & Olufsen setup, but instead I went with a 7.1 system that is actually integrated into the drop ceiling, because that was a lot more economical than going crazy with like a Bang & Olufsen system that is mounted to the wall. There is still going to be a soundbar in the middle that has tons of power, but having the surround setup is something that I'm very excited for, and it takes advantage of that drop ceiling, which was originally done to add LED lights and pot lights to areas of the place that didn't have it. As for the kitchen, I also wanted to add a cup washer, and because the fridge has a water filler and they had to pull a water line anyways, I figured a pot filler would be a nice touch from like a resale standpoint, because they already had to have the water line there. When it comes to the bedroom, I've gone with an OLED TV with a Sonos setup to be able to enjoy music, but also set up the alarm clock to that. In the bathroom itself, I'm not really a big fan of bidets, so instead I did go with a smart system for the shower from Kohler. So I'm interested to see how this next generation of smart system is going to work and whether or not that was a good idea. I think the biggest philosophy when it comes to home technology is that you want to have good levels of balance. Having way too much home tech definitely complicates your daily life because you're always trying to figure out how to use it, and there's also a higher likelihood of something breaking and making a simple task more difficult. So I've tried to ensure that what I have added in the place is at least effective enough to the point where it actually contributes to improving your daily life, even if it's a little bit unnecessary. So you're gonna notice that I didn't go all out when it comes to home tech, but there are a few touches that I personally really value and I'm really excited about. So let's go ahead and give you guys a walk around tour of all of the electrical elements and setup of my dream condo. So now we're in the unit, and let's just go ahead and talk about what the idea behind all the electrical work is before going into detail of each room. So because all the walls are open, I figured this is the perfect opportunity to add exactly what I want in places that I need it. So you can see all this BX wire up here, that is for lighting. There's also a ton of Cat 6 that is going around everywhere, and you're also going to see a ton of speaker wire. And over my past few projects, the electrical work has evolved based on each one. In my first project, I actually didn't open up any walls and didn't change anything aside from like LED can lights and stuff. But then as the second project came around with our company office, I went ahead and took out all of the walls and added power outlets every 6 feet as we tried to turn a residential unit into one that was suitable for a tech office where we have a ton of camera equipment. And that was a very interesting process to see them take everything apart, pull new wires, work with like the circuit breaker. It really opened up kind of my experience in knowing what I wanted in my spaces and also realizing the limitations of certain condo setups and what can be done. In the last project, not much electrical work had to be done, but in this one, it is a place that I'm going to be living in, and so I gotta get very specific in terms of the things that I would personally like. So you take a look right now, LED lights are going to be pretty much everywhere. This unit right now has drop ceiling in certain areas, and that already has canned lights. But as you can see, we're in the living room right here, and there isn't actually any can lights. You have like an active outlet on the end that you're meant to use as a light. And I figured because all the ceilings were going to be dropped by 4 inches in the higher areas, it's not only for adding up to 9 LED lights that are going to be up here, it was also an opportunity to build the ultimate surround sound system that is nicely integrated, but also have internet go all the places that I need it, whether it's like the TV behind the couch for like the wireless speaker setups, and also having the router up in the ceiling is a really good way to hide it instead of taking up desk space. So yeah, this is the area that's going to have so much tech. We're going to be talking a lot about the living room during this entire project, and this entire wall right here is going to be where the 83-inch TV is housed, and also where the internet system and everything is going to be set up over there through the Cat 6 wire and the fiber internet coming in, but also having cutouts for all the cables through like HDMI, power access, and speaker wire on each side that not only connects back to the receiver in this cabinet right here, but it also travels all the way around in what I believe is either a 7.1 or a 9.1 setup, where you have all the surround speakers, main speakers in the front, and also a subwoofer that's going to be behind the couch. I'm really excited for this living room to come to life, and there's one little touch, and that is a vapor fireplace that is going to be right here. So that's a fireplace that looks more realistic than an electrical one, but it still doesn't operate off of gas. And that's going to have a water line that comes in that is able to produce that water vapor. And so based on the concepts, I'm super stoked, and I hope you guys are excited to see it too. This spot in the kitchen actually used to be a cabinet or a walkway into the home office, but I was kind of back and forth on what to do with it, and you guys know I ultimately decided to choose to go with a bar. So this will just make the kitchen feel even larger and very grand, and whether you're like outside and just hanging out or you're sitting at the dining table, you can come over here, grab some stuff. And so the only part of the electrical that actually applies is like some power outlets and some LED lights that are along the side, and the doors are going to be able to tuck in and also close off everything if I decide to create a huge mess here. So small appliances being hidden in the cabinets is definitely a priority of mine when it came to designing this unit, because I mean, having wires and random things everywhere just doesn't look that good. And I'm someone who isn't exactly known to be the most organized. So being able to close it off when guests are here just makes it a lot easier. You can see all of these existing cans are actually being swapped out. And instead of having regular bulbs, I'm just going to be putting 4000 Kelvin 90 plus CRI puck bulbs that are like a very good level of white balance, and it's what I'm used to in my current unit, but at the same time they last a lot longer, and it's going to be the same bulbs throughout both the existing and the new LED lights in the ceiling. So one of the most important elements of tech that I've been prioritizing over the past couple years is sleep technology. Whether it is mattress technology or even tracking related products such as the Aura, sleep is one of the most important things in my lifestyle, because if you guys follow the channel or over on Instagram, you know that I'm traveling all the time, and so whenever I come back home, to be able to maintain this schedule, having the best sleep possible is extremely important. So I want to give a huge thanks to Helix for sponsoring this video, because I've actually been a Helix customer for 6 years now, and they've also been a great partner of the channel in the past, and we've included these in every single property that I own, including the Airbnb properties, and the reviews from our guests have been amazing. But also, just as someone who has used Helix, I absolutely love it. To pick your Helix mattress, just go on the website and check out their sleep quiz, which will ask you a series of questions based on your sleeping style and your preferences, and it will recommend the right mattress for you. Here I have the Helix Luxe mattress, which is their top-of-the-line product. And if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, I've got a link at helix.com/JustinSay, which gets you 20% off, as well as 2 dream pillows for free. There's also a 100-night sleep trial that lets you test the mattress out and ensure that you love it. And Helix mattresses also include a 10-year warranty. They deliver the mattress right to your door, and there's free shipping within the US. Just to give you guys a preview of the bedroom design in the new place, it looks really similar to the previous one actually. I've gone with the same paint color with Hail Navy, a bit of a different millwork setup, but the actual bed is pretty much exactly the same as what I used in the previous condo. So we're gonna show you guys the update as it's completed, and I look forward to setting up the Helix Luxe mattress as soon as it is ready. And as I said, it's the exact same one as I had for the last 6 years. But now let's actually head over to the bedroom here, and you can see the overall theme of what I'm doing to each room is relatively similar. You'll see BX wire adding LED lights to the ceiling because it's the same deal as the living room, where there isn't actually any LED lights in the ceiling itself, and instead it relies fully on lamps. So being able to have like an ambient light and some sconces is really nice, but I also figured because the ceiling is being dropped once again, to have speakers on each side of the bed to be able to sync with like a Sonos system and alarm clock that is relatively seamless, instead of having a Sonos one on each side of the bed taking up the nightstand space. In this closet over here, this is also another area that I kind of maybe went a little bit crazy on. There's actually gonna be a steam closet on this side, and that's just something that I've wanted for quite a while. It's the LG Styler, and it allows you to just put stuff like hoodies and crew necks in there, steam clean them, instead of having to put them through a full wash cycle every single time. And so I'm interested to see how that works, but there's also going to be a charging station just right here and a hanger with LED lights for like quick access clothing, but then all this side is going to be actual cabinets. On the electrical aspect of the bathroom, there really isn't much to talk about. There's no lighting in there at the moment, but that bathroom is going to have the addition of LED lights underneath the cabinets, as well as heated tiles, which was a suggestion from my contractor and designer for a property of this caliber, and also a heated towel rack. So that's another thing that I'm kind of excited for. Relatively easy to add the electrical to that. Over on this side, of course, the bedroom needs to have its own home theater as well. And I'm someone who watches Formula One, which is usually like 5 or 6 in the morning. And so I don't even want to get out of bed, just turn on the TV. And so this side is going to have, I think, a 65-inch TV. Everything is going to be wired the same way. There's going to be speaker wire coming out as well. And everything will travel down into a hidden cabinet just to make everything look very seamless. And the TV speakers will also sync up with the 2 speakers that are in the ceiling above the bed to provide just a bit of a surround experience. For those who are wondering about noise, those speakers shouldn't be an issue because it is a steel and concrete building, and so sound has never really been a problem in this case. But I know like metal studs and stuff are definitely things that like the electricians don't really like to deal with that much, and you can see right now it is just like a huge mess because it is a partial teardown. A lot of units that are like brand new builds have everything open, and it makes it a lot easier to frame. But in this case, certain areas are being cut open. This whole wall was taken out, and they're kind of just selectively wiring everything through to new areas such as the drop ceiling as well. But now let's actually head over to the home office. And although it does carry a lot of similarities in the setup as these other rooms, the home office has a few more additional specifics that you guys who have been watching the channel for a while would kind of understand. So one of the biggest reasons for buying this unit is the fact that I don't have to use my main bedroom as my home office anymore. This is a pretty big space that is bigger than my current home office, which I feel like is a pretty good size with maybe a bit more width. But yeah, it's got a ton of natural light. It looks great. And as someone who spends a lot of my day at my desk, this was very important. But back on the topic of electrical, you can see there is Cat 6 everywhere. And talking about the internet setup, the setup is going to be a single router that has a nice range, not having any access points because a lot of times home tech can have issues communicating with each one, but instead a single commercial router that goes over to a 36 port gigabit Ethernet switch, and with Cat 6 wire that goes everywhere, whether it's going to be on this side, over to the projector, all the TVs, all the speakers, home tech, and just ensuring as many things are hardwired as possible. In this room in particular, I'm going to have my desk right here, and it's going to have a wrapping L onto that side and a cabinet on this side. So I'll be sitting here facing the window, and the plan is to have the hard drives, the NAS system, and all those drives along here. So you can see there's some internet wires, Cat 6 already pulled over here with the direct line. And in addition to that, you guys know I love watching TV, whether it's like hockey or Formula One while I'm working. So there's going to be a new projector that is going to be placed right here. And that is where we're going to have it fire over to that side, as you have a 100-inch projector screen that is motorized rolling down from the ceiling. To be honest, the projector that I have right now is good, but now having the projector fully integrated, I think is going to look a lot better. And I'm also upgrading my projector over to a Sony 4K one compared to the BenQ one that I have right now, which is actually served pretty well, but I realized just how much I use it. And by having better image quality, I think it'll be really nice and interesting to see how good it looks once it is all set up. Some of the other things to also talk about is the shades. The great thing about this unit is that when I purchased it, there was already some electric shades installed, which saved me tens of thousands of dollars. That stuff is not cheap and usually can cost like $1,000 per motor. And this place has, I think, 20 of them or something. So I'm glad that that's included because I'm able to utilize the motors once again and just switch out the rolls to like a pure white, but also choosing which areas I would like blackout shades and which ones are just like privacy shades, but still let quite a bit of light in, not only for filming, but also depending on the room that it's in. So for example, the living room doesn't really need blackout shades, whereas like the bedroom, you don't want it to be like super bright in the morning. So yeah, everything is gonna be customized and controlled through a remote and an app, and everything is already pre-hardwired, so it's relatively easy for them to just come in and switch out the rolls. So now let's go outside and talk about some of the electrical things that are gonna be done here. And obviously we're not going completely crazy here, but taking a look at the actual terrace, this is where the whole outdoor kitchen is gonna go. It's gonna go all the way across here, and so adding a few power outlets is going to be important, but also having power outlets that are able to go over to the terrace for the fire table, as well as LED lights, are also just some small things that I figured we'd add while we had lifted the entire like bedding of this terrace grass. Over here, you guys are actually standing where the potting green is gonna be. It's gonna be an 18-foot one. And so I'm gonna have like some LED cups that kind of show where the hole is and also create a bit of ambient light. But a lot of this is probably going to be solar, whereas the pieces that actually need power are going to be routed from inside through to the outside. Over in the corner, I mean, I thought about putting a TV where the fireplace is, or even like, I don't know, anywhere. But I just want to have power outlets available, so when we want to do like a crazy setup or something, or host like a dinner and want to set up a stand, then I'm gonna have the access to that. But over here is kind of where I was thinking the home theater could make a bit of sense. This is like the perfect spot for maybe like a 55-inch TV, and I'm very back and forth on it because this fireplace is nice, and I can't really think of a good way to integrate a TV out here. But at the same time, I mean, watching sports on the terrace with like the Samsung Terrace TV would be really awesome. So I'm still like trying to decide on that, but I'm still gonna have like a power outlet drawn over to that side in case I do decide to add that in the future. And I might do like some cladding and like some plants and stuff along this just to close off the box. There is gonna be a couch here as well as over there and 2 side chairs. So yeah, I mean, the terrace just has a few steps before it's going to be ready, and I believe it's going to be ready before the inside is. So the summer is going to be coming up. At least if I'm able to use the terrace, that would be nice as we wait for all of the other pieces to kind of fall into place. Some of the other aspects that I'm also bringing from my past projects is LED lights along the hallway. This place has a very narrow hallway setup, and it almost looks a little bit boring, but I also don't want to put art because it might stick out from the wall, and I just don't have that much art. So once again, I'm going to be doing some LED lights on both sides. These are strips that go floor to ceiling and can definitely bring some nice height to the unit. So yeah, this is so far what it looks like. You can see it in its shelled state, and I wanted to show you guys a bit of like a cross section just of what it looks like right now. I think it is coming together pretty nicely. I definitely have to continue providing updates to you guys of the project, but I believe that is all when it comes to the electrical side of things. And there were definitely other things that I considered adding as well, such as an integrated smart home system, such as the Radio Raw 3 for like all these smart light controls. But for the cost of like, I believe $5,000 to $10,000, it just didn't make much sense. I still like to keep my home setup relatively simple and not rely too much on smart home technology because it can easily get overwhelming quite quickly. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoy this little segment, and let me know if you have any questions about the electrical setup. I'm obviously not an electrician, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching episode 3 of my dream condo setup tour, as well as the whole renovation and makeover process. It has definitely taken a lot longer than I would have liked or expected, but look out for some updates because as soon as this is done, I can't wait to show you the finished product because it is something that we have worked on for a long time and also invested a ton into as a series. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.